I want you guys to remember that in certain situations, you never lose. Either you learn from it or you win. Okay, I'm gonna say that again. In certain situations, or no, change your mindset. In all situations, you either win from that situation or you learn from that situation. But never tell yourself that you failed in that situation because that's not true. Okay, if something doesn't go your way, you didn't fail, but you learned from it. You learned that situation, you say, you know what, I can't do that again. Whatever the reason is why something didn't go right, you learn. But never tell yourself you failed. Okay. You didn't pass that test. Why? You learned that, hey, I didn't pass this test because I didn't take it as serious as I should have been. Or I did take it serious, I just didn't get it. So guess what? I'm gonna ace that next test. So I'm gonna study. And I promise on that next test, I'm gonna ace it. Never tell yourself you failed on that test. Okay? Because if you didn't get the grade you wanted, if you didn't win in that test, you learned from it. You learned from it, and who knows, that test you could have gotten a C. Okay? And in order to feel like that you won that test, you won the A. Okay, so guess what? You was like, look, I got a C. Obviously, I need to do something better. I need to study more. I need to get this problem solving more. I need to get better at this so I can get that A. Never tell yourself, even if you did get an F on that test, never say you failed that test. Because in reality, what you're doing, you're telling yourself, hey, I failed this, I will never get this, and you're putting those negative receptors on your mind. And in reality, all you gotta do is change your mindset. Say, dang, I got an F on this. Okay, what did I learn from this situation? I learned that, hey, I didn't get it. So I either need help, a lot of help, or I just need to lock in and just really study so I can get that A on that test. Okay. Never tell yourself that you failed. Because when you tell yourself that you failed, guess what? You're going to run away from that situation. Because you like, I failed and I don't want to feel that feeling again. Don't do that. Don't do that. You're going to fail. Next time, just tell yourself, hey, I didn't fail from that situation. I learned from that situation. Okay. If I didn't win from that situation, I learned from it. I learned from it. So guess what? Next time I know how to win in that situation. Or I know how to do what I said I was going to do. Even if I quote unquote failed, like I said, don't say you failed. Say you learned. Say, look, I may have not did as good as I want to do. Or I may have told myself I want to do a certain something and it just didn't work out. But I learned. I learned how to do that next time. I learned how to do this even though it didn't work the first time. I learned the first time, whatever I did the first time, it just didn't work for me. But I learned from that situation. I learned from that. So everything I did the first time, I'm not going to do the second time because I learned from it. Always tell yourself either I win from it or I learn from it. Because when you tell yourself you failed, like I said, you're putting those negative receptors on your mind, and then that's going to get you to be unmotivated and you're just going to run away from it. Okay, so always tell yourself, look, if I didn't win in this situation, I learned from this situation and I know now not to do what I did last time. Okay, replace the word fail with learn, and I promise you, your whole perspective of life in certain situations will change. Because remember, you never truly failed. You just learned that whatever you did the first time, it just didn't work. Okay, so you learned from that. Now, learn something new and apply it next time so you can win from that situation, okay? So replace the word fail with learn, and I promise you, you'll see so much growth.